Hey everybody, clearing. All right, this is going to be a divine masculine check-in, but first off, let's see what the feminines want to know. So thank you, divine creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the collective that joins me here? What do the feminines want to know, and what would the masculines tell the feminines in that regard? So let's see, what do the feminines want to know at this point? The truth. We have two lightning bolts here. So there are two truths the feminines really would like to know. I keep being pulled to the emotional deck. I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, on one hand, we have that and the other. Okay. We have regret, health, and balance. They came out on each side. So the feminines are looking at regret versus balance, temperance, health. I mean, we could say that optimum health is optimum balance, and that regrets are an indicator that there wasn't balance at some point. But let's see, what are the feminines looking at regarding regret that they want to know about moving it forward to this twin flame connection? Like Chariot is forward motion, and this is the Two of Wands. So they kind of want to know if you have regret about not moving it forward sooner, masculines, or not moving it forward when you had the chance. Or if your regret about not moving it forward already, this doesn't mean all on your shoulders, but that the connection hasn't moved forward. If you have any regrets, or if you think it's too regrettable for redemption. Okay, and what is the other truth? This health and balance. What does that have to do with? Bravery, trailblazing, leadership in this regard. So the feminines are also wondering if you know how exquisite this connection could be, and how, if the two of you came together, how much optimum life, aliveness, vitality would be involved. Yeah, so there's something about the bravery it takes to love ourselves enough to come into that epitome of balance and health. And the feminines are wondering, are you that brave to do that with a partner that would meet you on that level of true thriving on every level? Okay, so let's get into the cards. Let's see what the masculines have to say about it. What can we see on the conscious mind and in the heart space of the masculines regarding these specific topics that the feminines are asking about today? Thriving and letting go of regrets from the past. What can we see? We've got two energetic cards there, and for some reason I have two decks for this advice that I pre-shuffled, so we're gonna go with it. Oh, and don't forget, I am launching a Divine Love Tarot course starting on Wednesday evenings, Pacific Standard Time, January 22nd. So if you want a spot in that, please sign up with the link below in the description for my website. It's listed in the Work With Me section. All right, and if you've loved my readings, please like, share, subscribe. When we get to 20,000, I'm giving away a coaching package. We are getting very close. Okay, here we go. So conscious mind about the connections in general as it relates to the timing, the regrets, and the thriving. All right, wow. So here we go, feminine. Starseed Awakening, 22. That is a union number. And Cosmic Heritage, Galactic Remembrance. So these masculines, they are, remembering this cosmic level of thriving. The Hanged One is deliberation, yes and no's, timing. Usually the Hanged One is when everything seems to have come to a halt. And so it's not a final answer, it's a pause. There's a pause here with regard to the regret and the timing and everything. It's not necessarily a regret for these masculines. It's a awareness that there is a decision to be had. And ironically, in the name of this next level cosmic assessment of reality here. So they do see, it's only a matter of time, I just heard, they do see this potential for something out of this world. What do the feminines need to know? Reciprocity and heartache. Yeah, this is a really tender one, because when we're looking for equal give and take, but there's an imbalance that manifests in heartache, you know, there are a few directions, 3 swords here. It can be trauma, self-imposed, or feeling a lack of control because of extenuating circumstances or other people's free will in the mix. All of those things create suffering because we're attached to a particular outcome or a way it should look that we think this reciprocity, you know, is or isn't at play with. All of these independent swords here have to do with when we don't think it's balanced. So feminines, this is a time to really have that unconditional love that doesn't get ahead of yourself, doesn't desire something to be there if it's not in alignment. Instead of being frustrated that something isn't aligned, we need to look at what can we do about it? Can we shift how we're showing up? Can we shift how we're thinking about things? Can we look at these 3 factors? Can we say, is the trauma still needing to be healed and released? Is there a misconception that I'm telling myself? Can I see the value in somebody else's sovereign path without needing to control it at this time? Can I allow it to unfold naturally? A lot of times we get in this heartache when we fear we're not ever going to have the love if it's not happening now. But if we can look at the growth that's happening, it takes on a different approach, takes on a different assessment. And so that's really where we see the valuable give and take, where we see how our whole lives are being transformed, not just that our ego is being stroked, whether we're being accepted or rejected at any given time. That's not the best way to look at divine aligned relationships. The best way to look at them is lessons learned and growth. Okay, what can we see for how the masculines would address these when it comes right to the feminines? Whoa! 4 of Flames, that's the union card, and self-sustaining systems, fluidity and abundance, so 44. So there's that 4-4 number again. So with regard to if things are regrets or if thriving is potential here, yeah, the masculines are saying they're seeing both of you coming into being more self-sustaining, direct connection to source, and that is the formula for union. So they're seeing this, whatever your circumstances are, they're seeing this development, this developing, this growing energy. And for the feminines, the Lovers and the World. So certain things need to close out, feminines, before this higher love can ground into the physical. And as things close out, this love can come in. What can we see from how the masculines are looking at regrets and thriving on the heart space? Well, we get the Ace of Swords. So they're seeing this truth. Ecstasy, rapture, flux, amplification. So beautiful. They're being this ecstatic rapture energy. They're rising up and above the regret. And amplification talks about this thriving that can come in with both. So on the heart space, they may not use those exact terms, but they feel there is a releasing of the old and an amplification of potential coming in. What can we see for the feminines? 2 of Cups and progress, inner progress. There's a twin flame caduceus as well. So lots of twin flame cards today. The 2 of Wands, the 4 of Flames, the 2 of Cups with the caduceus. So feminines really seek to understand what divine love would entail. Again, that Bible verse, 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Love is patient, love is kind, it keeps no record of wrongs, it's not boastful, it's long-suffering. read that verse and really look at, are you showing up in that love? Is your person demonstrating the capacity for that love? And really, this inner progress is the motion of bringing yourself into righteousness, into alignment that way. So on the heart space here, this is a journey. It is a process of refining. What can we see for these masculines on the heart space for their feminine regarding regrets and thriving? Starseed awakening. So this is the next level. This is the high heart blossoming. This is the emergence of a whole new timeline, a whole new higher purpose. And chakra Kabbalah, spiritual path, life lessons, and karma. So they know that they aren't quite finished letting go of their karma. Possibly you're not quite finished letting go of your karma, feminines. So these masculines understand the natural process, this tree of life. And feminines, we have the star and judgment. So 2 more major arcana. We got the star seed, but this is the higher destined path. So allow this transformation to support your destined path. We have to be supported by overcoming our particular challenges, our karmic patterns, in order to rise into our Jedi level missions where we bring those solutions to humanity. And so we have to see the light. We have to see in first person layman's terms, what in simplified terms, what these exact healings that we're going through are in order to make the world a better place. Healed people heal people. What can we see for the manifestation here the masculines want to take regarding regrets and thriving? Same card, this card of bravery coming in. So the masculines are looking at bravely stepping forward. There are a lot of energies here that are representative of old alignments, affiliations that the masculines used to have. And here they are just dancing with it, above it all. So they are ascending, transcending. What was that one card? Rapture, ecstasy, amplification, flux. They're rising above. Temple of suspended ending, standstill, suspended animation, and holding space. That's the hanged one energy again. So right now they are, this connection has spaciousness in it because they are settling the score with all of these loose ends from their past. And that has to do with a lot of final assessments of what is what internally, that it will empower them to go forward in an independent way and branch off of what has been their previous popular opinion or the herd mentality, whatever their company culture, friend base culture, their family ideologies. Those are all being seen for whether or not they contain righteousness. And these masculines are stepping up and out of any that don't offer aliveness, righteousness, truth for them personally. What do the feminines need to know about this? 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment, and Knight of Wands. If you want your masculine to be invested passionately, which this is saying keep wishing for, the way you can do that is to give unlimited, unconditional love and space and allow them the grace of coming through this rite of passage where they step into their own and nobody's telling them how, what, where, when, why, not even you, just them and the divine. If you are meant to be together, them coming through that process will be the thing that aligns you. And if this was a connection that was a developmental connection to show you certain aspects of those things and then support you both to going in your own direction, the love of a lifetime is still in store, if not with this person, with someone else. Okay, but this is saying stick in there because it's a suspended ending. That means everybody is finalizing things. We got the world for the feminine, so there are things wrapping up on both sides. Don't throw in the towel just yet with this masculine feminines. What are these masculines' actions? regarding the regret and the thriving. Okay, they're really taking accountability for any of the things that they feel they self-sabotaged. They didn't take the high road, they cut corners. They are looking at those things. So they want to make amends, I just heard. They changed behavior is the best apology. And for the thriving, peace, healing, gentleness, non-judgment. So they're dropping self-condemnation. They know that whoever they're going to engage with going forward or interact with, that they're going to have to be in a fresh new energy, because the masculines have not always been so righteous. There's going to have to be an understanding that it was a developmental stage. Now, feminines, don't just let any masculine back in your energy willy-nilly. Like, make sure it actually is bearing fruit. If there are any red flags, make sure that those are healed before you desire to come into a deeper connection. Make sure it's warranted. But this is saying, as these masculines come back into thriving, they will be softer, more gentle. They will bring peace. They won't be bringing that same fickle, underdeveloped energy anymore. What can we see for the feminines? Yeah. The Four of Wands, which is inner union, 1111, and the Ace of Pentacles. This is a new beginning, but it's here in the internal. So look at what you still need to do to balance out. Play this what if game. What if your masculine came in today? Would you have this inner union, and do you have all your ducks in a row at this point? So if you do, then hang tight. Your masculine just has a few things to do before it's time for them to come back around here and start really thriving. If you do have certain things, then take heart that you have a grace period to allow those to organically play out on your side, feminines. What can we see for the biggest challenge for these masculines regarding regrets or thriving? Okay, so we got the Eight of Crystals, which is that star-seeded, innovative, next level stuff. The adversity that has been faced in these connections actually helps mitigate ego, and it's humbling. And it helps teach problem solving, discernment, righteousness. There's so many good things that have happened. But part of the challenge here is that while each is working on this advanced learning, there is this chamber of communication, correspondence, declaration, telepathy. So the 5D and the 3D doesn't often align until union comes in. And old towers still need to fall in the background here. We're building a new one, a higher calling here. But we're energetically connected. So it's a relationship that is full on, but not so much in the physical until these old towers and constructs fall. So that's part of the challenge here, is that it's a primarily energetic connection that feels so substantial, yet things in the physical still need to play out before it can come in. Emperor and the Moon. Okay, so the Moon is this shrouded in secrecy kind of stuff. And the Emperor in the inverse talks about letting go of control issues, about the uncertainty, about the mystery, about the not knowing, the uncharted territory. So the advice is to let go of control issues and trust the journey, trust the process, trust the becoming, trust the healing, trust all of it for you and this masculine, feminines, and all other beings. See all other beings this way as well. What can we see for the... Is that the challenge or the solution? That was the challenge. What is the solution? Tact, timing, grace, transcendence, prayerfulness, and serenity. So the solution is continuing to pray. This is a lot of grace coming in, masculines. So grace and serenity really is, the serenity prayer, knowing what we can be accountable for, knowing what other people are accountable for, having that wisdom to tell the difference. This can be tact, timing, grace. So prayerfulness helps remind us, it helps run things through a higher assessment. If we don't know, just don't act, but don't just freeze. Ask on Most High for that discernment. What is my accountability? What is someone else's? Is that ego telling me these things, or is it divine guidance? This is prayerfulness, going to source for that, not ego. So this is crown chakra. Even this Queen of Swords has the halo, which is the crown chakra awareness. It's not just perception, it is connection to source. And, oh yeah, the world again for the feminines and lovers. Did we just get the world and the lovers together already? You guys, look at that. I'm digging that out. So we got the world and the lovers in the same two decks, both together. The odds of that are just not by chance. So here we go again. This is, certain things need to play out, but there's a higher plan, higher motion. The angels are guiding this, the ancestors, the divine. Certain things need to close out, and both have to come into mastery in order to be entrusted with a love like this. And here's that dove for peace. How many times have we had peace in this reading? The word coming in over and over here. What can we see regarding regret? And so the masculines are saying it's in timing. They've been looking at what they've needed to do, what you've needed to do, and they're seeing through this divine lens that it's all kind of in flow if you have the right perspective. What is the direction in the near future? Eight of Orbs and bliss, aspiration, realization. So there's a contrast here between what would be like following our bliss and then this trapped and powerless energy. So this is a card of frustration or wallowing or spiraling or undermined. This is stuff we tell ourselves, and that seems to be in contradiction to the bliss, the aspirations we hold for these connections. So there seems to be this layer of self-doubt I just heard that needs to be finally cleared regarding the regret and the thriving. So bliss isn't necessarily it's not necessarily fully aligned with thriving. Bliss can be manic if we're not discerning. And so sometimes we get this ego construct in here that puts the brakes on. It's like pulling the emergency brake on our bliss. This is ultimately saying that there are some misguided things that aren't actually best for us that we think would be blissful at this point. So this combo is asking everybody to really look at what you think you want right now, and then pay attention to when your subconscious or your ego starts contradicting what you think you want. What I'm hearing in this moment is that when that happens, it might be an indicator that what you think you want isn't actually the be-all end-all thing that you on the deeper level want. If you've got that tug-of-war on the surface, take a step back and really look at those polar pairs that are coming up, the contrasts between what you're telling yourself you want, you've got to have, you know it's going to happen, and the contrasts. And make room in your heart for not having to be so sure, is what I'm hearing. Because it feels like something even more abundant, beautiful, right, realistic, divine wants to emerge from that space. And yeah, Okay, we have 8 of Cups and 6 of Wands. This card came out a few times in private reads today. 6 of Wands in the inverse is, you know, in the upright, it's about reputation, public acknowledgement. In the inverse like this, it has to do with being right with God and walking away from anything that is overly emotional, whether that's manic and blissed out and like manic, or manic, dire and trapped. So we've got this reverberation of the emotional spectrum between the high highs and the low lows here, the freedoms, the illusion of freedom and the illusion of being trapped, I'm hearing. Wow, that's a really sophisticated message coming through. And so basically it's not about external circumstances, factors, the good on paper things. It's about what can you do to take stock about what is really immediately, practically, realistically emerging. It's being grateful for what is rather than this insatiable or disintegrated stuff. If you're following this, it's a little bit of a message to channel through, but it's about being in that middle path and walking in balance, being present, bringing in the peace. That peace can be anchored when we are present with what is and we're accountable for our right attitudes and alignment in this moment, right now. And that, I'm looking at this star in this card, that is the destiny that we are all anchoring here on behalf of the cosmos, I just heard. All right, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.